Hey guys, welcome to the Middle Sister Podcast, the podcast that feels like a FaceTime call with your sister who's figuring life out right along with you. I'm your host, Safira, and this is the Middle Sister Podcast. First, I just want to talk about who I am as your host. I figured since it's the first episode, it's only right you get to know me a little bit. Um, if you couldn't tell by the title, I am the middle child. I have an older brother and I have a younger brother. I live at home with my parents. I'm currently 18. I will be 19 in July. I'm finishing up high school. I have 2 months left, including these last few weeks of March. So I will be graduating in May. So that's very exciting. Um, I would say the way my life looks right now is very calm. Um, I pretty much just go to school and come home. I feel pretty good about where I am right now in life. I'm not at a place where I don't have everything figured out, but not a place where I have everything figured out. I'm kind of in that middle area where I have a lot of different things lined up that I can choose from. I'd say it's a little bit confusing and pressure feeling being only 18 and having the pressure of everyone um, thinking that I have everything figured out when I really don't. I'm still a kid. I'm not an adult fully. I'm still learning and I'm still figuring it out. So it gets a little confusing. Still trying to find my way. Um, but that's okay. You learn as you go and you pick up what you learn and you grow. And that's what really matters. Um, I'd say I'm really excited this new chapter that's unfolding in my life with graduating, finishing high school. Um, I have always wanted to get out of that school building. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in there, and it felt like it was just taking forever. Um, but now that it's here, it's very bittersweet. Um, I have exciting portions, and I have a little bit more of sadder portions, but that's to get into at a later date. Um, I want to talk about why I started this podcast. Um, the idea first came to me originally when I was in a small group of friends. We were all joking about how funny we were and how if we started a podcast, we would get really famous because we were just hilarious. We were just goofballs. Um, and I eventually had a falling out with that group of friends, and it kind of put the idea at a stop, and that's kind of where it laid at a low angle for a while because the original idea was to start a multiple host, a co-host podcast, um, which didn't end up happening. So it took a little longer. Um, and it really it didn't bug me as much when it kind of had that fallout with my friends because the idea wasn't that big. It was kind of just out there in the air. And I had ended up bringing it up to a significant other I had at that point in my life. And they were just completely against it and kind of said some mean things to me about it and discouraged me a little bit. And that's really when I kind of put two and two together with my thought process. And I really thought I could do this. I could really put this together and put time into it if I just sat down and really thought about it. And so that's when I started to pick up everything that I needed to learn, the things that I needed to get, the structure that I needed to build. I got all of those things together and started to really put that thought into the podcast of what I wanted it to be, where I wanted it to go, how I wanted the audience to feel, just all of those things really started to just hit me. So it was really like I was fueled by, I guess you could say, that hater energy I was getting from that person in my life. Um, that really just pushed me to strive for more and strive for better for myself and for those around me. So that's where it really became this big thing. And I really just sat down and did it because that's when it started to just bug me. I was thinking about it for weeks and weeks, and it was just prodding at my head, this idea that just wanted to get out. And I felt like I had to do it. I felt like it was just calling to me, like it was this dream that I had to pursue. So I finally just sat down and did it. And I felt so relieved when I did. I felt so full of this amazing energy, this life that filled me when I was putting it all together, because it just brought me this inner peace that I wasn't necessarily feeling from other things that were around me in my life. So that's where it really started to just grow into this huge baby thing. So I just wanted to create that safe haven space for people around me who are figuring life out, and there being that in between person, which is where the middle sister title came about. It's about being that middle person and giving the advice that you're still learning yourself, because that's where I am. I don't have it all together, but I still give advice to those who need it. And it's usually the advice that I'm trying to give myself and take along with me, and I'm still figuring it out. And I'm just trying to help those around me. So if you feel like you're that in between person, then we're in the same boat and this podcast is for you. Let's get into where I am in life, because that's what this podcast is all about, talking about the feelings we're having about the stage of life that we're currently in. So, right now, like I said earlier, I am finishing the last 2 months of high school. It's very nerve-wracking, so to say. Um, I did do all 4 years of school in the same high school. So I do have all the memories of all in one place. I know some people go through high school experiences where they do switch schools. I personally didn't have that experience. I stayed in the same school all of 4 years. So everyone that's in my class, I've known for 4 years. And it's just been a roller coaster ride growing up alongside all of these classmates of my class. Um, I definitely wouldn't say that I am a popular person within my school or an outgoing person, so to say. I wouldn't say that I'm known in a friendly manner among my classmates. I'm definitely kind of quiet kid. I usually hang out in corners reading my books, or doing schoolwork, which I don't mind. I enjoy actually being in my corners and not talking to anyone. It's very peaceful, actually. Um, I'm very much a people watcher, and I like to just watch the people around me, uh, and see how everyone interacts in the world with each other. Or I just dig my nose into TikTok, really. I know we all have those moments where we just all sit in our phones and watch TikTok until it's time for us to do something else. And I have those moments too. I spend a lot of my lunches on TikTok, and that's where I get all of my fabulous ideas. But I will say there is a lot of pressure for when you're coming to the end of your senior year of high school, because I know a lot of my classmates in our senior year, we all turn 18 and we're discovering this adulthood, and all of the other adults around us are asking us these questions that sometimes we just don't have all the answers for. And that is really anxiety inducing sometimes. that pressure puts a lot on our shoulders that sometimes we just feel like we can't express to the people around us. And if you're feeling that way too, that's how I feel. I'm right alongside with you. Um, I have a lot of that pressure being asked all the questions of what I'm doing with life after high school. And it definitely is a heavy answer to look those people in the eyes and say, I don't know. Because you really just start to feel like you are just behind. At least I feel that way. And if you feel that way too, I'm right here with you, holding your hand with those feelings because I have them as well. Um, it's definitely nerve wracking having that uncertainty of what's to come in the future and wondering what your life will look like. And it's a really scary part of growing up because it's not the fact that we're growing up, it's the uncertainty of what our life is going to look like in those years. And that's just really hard to come to terms with and figure it out because it really depends on what you do with your life. And you really, I know, at least I do, um, think hard about where I want to go with my life because it is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. And I always grew up with others around me saying, if you do something you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life. And growing up hearing that, I really took that to heart and put a lot of thought into what I wanted to do with my life. And right now I may not have it figured out, but at one point in time I was one of those people who had it all figured out and who had the plan, who had all the requirements, the to-do list, the checklist, everything that I needed to stay on track for the exact plan I wanted to get out of high school and live this career life that I really wanted. And over time it just kind of fell apart and fell into this new piece of art that um blossomed into something else. Maybe like the SpongeBob scene where he's going to Squidward's art class and he rips up the paper and makes paper into something new. That's kind of what happened with the goal of what to do after high school. It became this one picture and just kind of crinkled apart and became something else. And that's okay because it's a new plan, it's a new piece of art that we're all learning together. Um, so that plan just kind of crumbled into a new picture, and I got all these new ideas, and I had all these different plans and all these different paths that I wanted to take. Um, and I really just decided that what's the point in sticking to just one when you can, why limit yourself, really? That's what I'm trying to say is why limit yourself to just one path when you can take multiple? Um, because I know I don't want to limit myself to just one journey in life, one career. I want to explore lots of things. I want to try different things. I want to study different things. I want to learn about culture. I want to learn about history. I want to travel the world. Like, there's so many different things that I want to learn. Why limit myself to just one possibility? So it's definitely a lot of pressure having that uncertainty and not having those plans to say to people straight off the bat when you are ending high school. And that's just really hard to kind of come to terms with. But I think as the days go on and as you get to the end, it gets a little easier because you know the next day is just another day for you to grow and it's another day for you to accomplish something new. So that is really that's the more exciting part of the phase of life I'm in right now. I definitely am more excited for what's to come, the different paths that I can take, the different possibilities that may occur, um, the mixed emotions of everything. I'm definitely excited for, um, like, for example, I have mixed emotions. I don't know if it's everyone or if it's just me or if you feel like this too, but I definitely have mixed emotions about graduation. If you have mixed emotions about graduation too, join the club. Me too. Um, I am partially excited. I'm definitely excited to close the chapter of high school because I'm going to be honest, I don't get along with a lot of my school class. The graduating class of 2026, I do not get along with you, and I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave. I don't want to be a part of this class anymore. Um, if I'm just being honest. I know some of us all feel that way eventually at some point in time with our graduating class, and that's just about where I feel. Um I'm ready. I'm ready to ditch the walls, ditch the doors. I don't want to be in this school with you guys anymore. I want to live life. Um so I'm definitely excited to graduate and say goodbye to everyone and try to never see them again. But I'm also definitely a little sad. I definitely have a little bit of sad feelings when I really think about it because high school is just such a big part of your teenage years. You spend so much time in school and learning and getting to know these people around you that are in your class and the new classes that come along and the classes that go as you're going through all those years. Um, and you make all these connections, you learn all these things, you make all these memories. Um, and when you graduate, you're just kind of leaving that building behind with all of those memories in it. Um, and that's a little sad. As much as the people that were in my life with those memories and how they aren't in my life anymore, those memories still do mean a lot to me and they are a part of me. And I do get a little sad thinking that those memories are staying in that building and I'm never going to see them again. I'll never be able to walk down the hall and think, oh, I used to go with my friend next to that locker. Like, I won't be able to do that anymore or talk to the day to day people I would in that building that maybe I don't talk to outside of school every day. Like, my friends in my fourth period. I go in there and I talk to them, and I don't necessarily talk to them outside of school, but I enjoy those interactions, and I'm not going to have them once I graduate, which is a little sad. That class I will say I'll miss just because they are a little goofy. Um, but there's pros and cons of my feelings for graduating. So I'm definitely that in that in between stage and trying to figure out what I'm doing without overdoing it and overexerting myself and messing up the progress or the process that I'm having with everything. So it's definitely hard because some days I just want to graduate. I just want to have my diploma in my hand and just walk out the door and never go back because sometimes that school makes me mad. Um, but I have to sit down and remind myself that good things take time and all of those things are going to have their ups and downs. And I just have to sit and relax and take a deep breath and get back to work so that I can get to the end and really have that diploma in my hand and feel ecstatic that I can leave with that piece of paper. um, that is where I'm at in life. That is how I view my current phase that I'm in and how I'm working through all of that. So, if I were to give you my middle sister advice from our talk today, I would say don't mess up your progress trying to rush the process. We're all figuring it out, and you don't have to do it alone. Thanks for having a call with your middle sister today. Talk to you soon.